Welcome. Welcome to Unity of Mesa. We are a thriving spiritual community thanks to your love and light. My name is Jennifer Magnano, and I am board member of the day, and I am so glad to be back this weekend. We are a mask optional community. Please ask before loving on your neighbor today. And a reminder, please silence your cell phones before we begin.
So welcome to Unity of Mesa. Are you glad to be here? Yes. Oh, I like that. I'm glad to be here too. There's no place I would rather be than right here, right now, this morning, today. And for all of the places you could have been, you are here, so thank you for that. It's a joy to see you, to be able to greet you this morning, to say hello, to grab hugs, and just to commune heart to heart. Unity of Mesa is a spiritual community that calls us to live our truth, whatever that is for us. And that truth provides us with a sense of freedom, that we can live in our truth, we can live in our divine nature, we can be ourselves, and we can stand in our power, loving generously, and being all that we were called down to earth as a human being to be. What a joy to do it together. How fun to come into this community on a Sunday morning and be able to greet you, to say hello. How fun to see you on Facebook and respond to your comments. Thank you for that. What a joy just to come together. It's something that delights my heart and just makes me feel joy all the time. So thank you for that. Let's begin in prayer, but let's do it as a spoken word prayer. And let's begin with, I am magnificent. I am magnificent. I live a life that is full. I enjoy my freedom. I am the light of the world. And I share my light with others. And so it is, and so we let that be. Let that be. That's right. Let's close that prayer. So it is, and so we let that light be. Lily and I have some announcements for you. We are excited about some things that are coming up.
We have the Four Agreements discussion group that is actually every other Sunday. The next one is going to be today at 11:45 right after service.
Yes. And on March 13th, we're doing something that's been done before, a healing night here, but we're doing it in a new way. So we invite you to come March 13th, 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock, and check it out. See, we all need some form of healing. Come and see what yours is.
We also have the women's ministry that is actually doing a clothing drive from now until, March 3rd through the 24th. If you have any questions, please see Delane Collins, where's Delane? Oh, she's in the back right now. Or you can call us, bring men's clothes, women's clothes. This is for the
House of
Refuge.
Yes.
Children's clothes too, thank you.
And last but not least, we have Harmonious Relationships that Mary Ann has been doing for the past few weeks, and it sounds like it's really fun from the things that I've heard. I'm going to invite you to stand as you are able, and let's have a good time singing. And this is a song that you get to move and groove on if you so choose.
Okay, it starts like this.
I
The last Sunday of the month is we call Diversity Sunday, and we take a look at different holy days and holidays that are happening all around the world in different spiritual traditions and in different religions. On March 10th, Ramadan begins for those in the Islamic faith. Ramadan is the 9th month in their calendar, and for 30 days, they fast from sunrise to sundown in honor and in celebration of their prophet, Muhammad, peace be upon him, who received the revelation that became the Holy Quran. Ostara happens on March 19th. Now, this is the spring equinox, and in the pagan traditions, it's celebrated by recognizing that there's balance in the universe. It has a lot of symbolisms like bunnies and fairies and eggs and things that may sound familiar to Easter if you're in a Christian faith. Nowruz is the beginning of the new year in what now is the region called Iran and many other pockets in the world. It began as a Zoroastrian religious celebration of the new year. Zoroastrianism was the world's first monotheistic religion, so it predates Judaism as being monotheistic, but it is also celebrated with prayer and special foods and special symbolisms like eggs, just saying. Purim is a Jewish holiday. It begins at sundown in the calendar everywhere in the world but Jerusalem on the 23rd, and then it goes all the way through the 24th. Now, it's really the celebration of how Esther, who sounds a little bit like Easter, which is a little bit like Ostara, but I'm not making any assumptions here. They dress up. Esther saved her people. She ensured the continuance of the Jewish nation. In Jerusalem, it's celebrated a full 24 hours later, and there is a lot of revelry where people dress up like it's Halloween, and they have street parties and all kinds of fun things. An entirely different note, entirely different flavor and energy is Holy Week, which is in the Christian faith, and it marks the last week of Jesus' life from his triumphal entry on Palm Sunday into Jerusalem through Maundy Thursday, where he shared the bread and the wine that became the ceremony known as the Eucharist, to Good Friday, to when he was crucified, to Sunday when he rose from the dead. So that's all of the week of March 24th. Holi is a Hindu celebration. It's about brotherhood. It's about oneness. It's about throwing paint and colored water on each other so you can no longer tell who has light skin and dark skin, and in some cases you can't even tell who's male and female. It's really a celebration of joy that honors oneness. Hola Mahalla is March 25th through the 27th. It's a Sikh holy time. It was started by Guru Gobind Singh. It's a time for the warriors to show off their skills, but it's also a time where they do that all day long, and then in the evening they recite poetry. I just want you to know that there's a whole theme of new beginnings, and a lot of them have to do with March 25th. March 25th, a very interesting day. In the Catholic tradition, it is the Annunciation, when to Mary to say, you are now pregnant, you are with child, and you're going to give birth to this man, God, named Jesus. So that happens on March 25th. Now, March 25th, did you know that it was, for the longest time, the official beginning of the new year? So it wasn't January 1st that started the new year, it was March 25th. Did you also know in Christian theology that it was the day, March 25th, was the day that God created Adam? It was also the day that Adam and Eve fell from grace. March 25th was also the day that Lucifer fell from grace. It was the day that Moses took the people and parted the Red Sea. And March 25th was the day that God God instructed Abraham to sacrifice Isaac. There is a lot going on March 25th. And until 1582, it was the new year. And then Pope Gregory rearranged the whole calendar, and January 1st became the new year everywhere, but in the British Empire, because by then the British people were Protestant, and it took them to 1751 to say, okay, fine, we'll start New Year on January 1st. All right, on the 13th of March, it is Canine Veterans Day. It is a day to honor the dogs that have served in the military service since World War II. They started out as scouts and messengers, and now they do all kinds of very important service for us as a nation. The 14th, 3.14 is Pi Day. If you are a math nerd, you know all about pi. But it's also a day that many pizza parlors and bakeries offer specials on pies. And Nikki and I got introduced to this pie place not far from here. Divine Pies. It's like something hamburgers. You wouldn't think they had pies, but it was, what was it called? Giant hamburgers. Oh my goodness. Okay, the 17th is St. Patrick's Day, and the 23rd is National Tamale Day. So, yeah, interesting things happen in March all around the world. I'm going to invite Julie Treglone, our Youth and Family Ministries Director, to come forward with her designated youth, and they are going to give us the affirmation of the day and then some hot off the press announcements.
Most definitely. So we'll start with our affirmation, and Katie is going to lead us.
The path before me is smooth, and I walk in it in peace. Say it with me. The path before me is smooth, and I walk it in peace.
Thanks, Katie. Go ahead. You get to ring our chime. Thank you, Katie. We have an announcement. So if you haven't already caught up with the news, today is our YFM Bake Sale Day. Don't go home after church. Please stay, head out to the garden. There will be tables set up with some delicious treats. And I want to say thank you, first of all, to the youth and the parents who turned up on Friday night. They cooked, they baked, they did such a great job and had fun. And yeah, there was powdered sugar flying and all sorts of things. And thank you to those who have brought beautiful treats this morning and those who will stay, and all of you for your prayerful support of our youth. We truly appreciate you. This is a fundraiser, our second for the year out of 3 probably. There'll be another one later in the year. So we really appreciate all the love and support that you give our youth. So we'll see you in the garden afterwards for a great time. Okay, do you want to stay for the blessing, Katie? You can, there we go. All right. Oh, movie night. Sorry, there's one more thing. This is for the uni kids. So we're having a uni kids movie night, the movie Soul, that you may have seen before. Beautiful movie. And we're going to have pizza and popcorn, and that's coming up on Friday, March the 8th. Okay, so I hope you can be there. Bring along your friends. We're going to have a great time. Okay, let's say our blessing before we head out to class. Children, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ you are. Thank you.
A while ago, I realized that it is more important to love people than to be right. Because what I think is right is conditioned by culture, prejudice, stereotypes, ignorance, poor logic. But when I love, I must talk with people and listen and try to understand. And when I do these things, it breaks through. My culture, prejudice, stereotypes, ignorance, and poor logic. And on this path, I find more love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, gentleness, goodness, faithfulness, and self-control. And these are always lawful.
Wake up to the sunlight with your windows open. Don't hold in your anger or leave things unspoken. Wear your red dress, use your good dishes. Make a big mess and make lots of wishes. Have what you want and want what you have. And don't spend your life looking back. Turn up the music, turn it up loud. Take a few chances, let it all out, 'cause you won't regret it. Looking back from where you have been, 'cause it's not who you knew, and it's not what you did, it's how you live. So go to the ball games and go to the ballet. Go see your folks more than just on the holidays. Kiss all your children, dance with your wife. Tell your husband you love him every night. Don't run from the truth, 'cause you can't get away. Oh no. Just face it and you'll be okay. Turn up the music, turn it up loud. Take a few chances, let it all out, 'cause you won't regret it. Looking back from where you have been, 'cause it's not who you knew, and it's not what you did, it's how you live. Oh, wherever you are and wherever you've been, now is the time to begin. So give to the needy, pray for the grieving, even when you don't think that you can. 'Cause all that you do is about to come back to you. Think of your fellow man. Make peace with God, make peace with yourself. Oh, 'cause in the end, there's nobody else. Turn up the music, turn it up loud. Take a few chances, let it all out, 'cause you won't regret it. Looking back from where you have been, 'cause it's not who you knew, and it's not what you did, it's how you live. No, it's not who you knew, and it's not what you did, it's how you lived.
When Kirsten Plumbeck's in the house, it is always a good day. every time. Thank you so much. All right, Atomic Habits, part 3. Part 3. I think in my entire ministerial career, 16 years, this is the longest, most drawn-out series I've ever done. And it's really because I had the audacity to think I could distill the entirety of this work in 2 short Sunday lessons way back in January. Remember January? All right, there's this thing going around on Instagram. It says, I've decided that my 2024 will start February 1st. January is definitely a free trial month. So that could explain part of it. Or perhaps it is this, 2024 is still loading. But I don't know. I just had this ridiculous notion that it was 2 weeks worth of stuff, and it really wasn't. So as a baby boomer, I would probably have some kind of comment like humph. You know that humph you have through your nose that you can't really put in words, but if you were a millennial, you would have texted LOL. So as a millennial, you wouldn't text LOL because it was funny, but because it was ironic. And then there's the Gen Z people who have innovated just about everything that the millennials did, and they have different acronyms, and they would have put IJBOL, which is I just burst out laughing, not because it was funny, well, because they find ironic things funny. So anyway, here we are on part 3, and I thought it would be a good idea if we did a little review, so to make it one cohesive series presentation, even though we're in part 3 almost a month later. Okay, fine. I'll get over it. All right. So atomic habits, when we think about atomic, most of us think about the astronomical size of a mushroom cloud. But in reality, atomic means teeny tiny, itty bitty. And I invited people who were present at the time to add a gesture to the whole concept around atomic habits, which is itty bitty changes, enormous impact. And if you weren't here for that, don't worry, you'll catch on in a heartbeat. If you hadn't watched it, you hadn't made up for it, that's okay. Here we go. Itty bitty changes, enormous impact. The way James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, wrote it out says, an atomic habit is a little habit that is a part of a larger system. Just as atoms are the building blocks of molecules, atomic habits are the building blocks of remarkable results. So really, it's that itty-bitty change, that 1%, that brings about these enormous transformative results in our lives, and it's systematic. I love systems. Systems are wonderfully supportive plans or guidelines or templates, that's a better word, that we can follow that help us produce reliable results. Unity has had a system for transformation, for even evolutionary transformation for some time. And this is what it looks like. There's an event, or we have a thought, or we are tempted by an idea, and then we make a choice. And when we make a choice with that uppercase R for response, we're actually responding to the event, the idea, the temptation, from a place of a consciousness of our oneness with God. So the outcomes are always better when we do that. If we are not conscious about our choices and we have a lowercase r, then we're most likely reacting to the event, the thought, or the idea. And when we react, it comes from a consciousness of fear or of lack. Now, what James Clear does in Atomic Habits, and this is the review part, is he puts it in a behavioral change context. So here's the event. What happened? What thought did you have? What idea or temptation did you have? And then he says, what do you ask yourself the question, what do I want? And then what will I do? And then the fourth one is, how would I like to feel? It fits perfectly with our Judaic Christian roots. If you think about the Israelites from the very beginning in the book of Genesis, they made all these covenants because they considered a covenant a system, and they wanted to systematically ensure the survival of their people. One of the most famous covenants is the Mosaic covenant, which basically says, obey God and you will be blessed. Disobey God and you will be cursed. It's really about recognizing that we have that capacity to choose if we take the time in that what do I want. When we look at the 10 Commandments or those 613 Jewish laws, if we want to respond to them, we will be blessed. The outcome will be a blessing. If we want to react to those 10 Commandments, the outcome will probably be less recognizable as a blessing because we're in unity. You know, we want to see things with a positive light. But what James Clear has done in this very same structure is create 4 atomic laws. Number 1, make it obvious. Number 2, make it attractive. Number 3, make it easy. And number 4, make it satisfying. Making it obvious is about recognizing that we have control over many things in our environment. And if we use our environment to support us in changing just 1% of our habits, then we can have that itty bitty change, enormous impact. Okay, one person is listening, or at least one person is playing. I'm sure more than one person is listening. So anyway, it's about our environment and setting our environment up so that it's obvious that we can make these changes. So if you wanted to get better at pickleball, then you play pickleball with somebody just a little bit better. If you want more joy in your life, you want to hang out with people who are happy and laugh a lot. And if you want to meditate more, you will designate a place in your home or your workspace, or maybe they're the same, but you'll designate a space there so you can meditate. You'll get it set up and make it really obvious. That's law number 1. Then number 2 is make it attractive. There are lots of ways to make it attractive. And make it attractive, this second law is based on the idea or the notion or the premise that desire is the driver of our behaviors. So if we want something, we will go for it. And it works because if you take a look at the science of the brain has more neural circuitry for wanting something than appreciating what you actually already have. Yeah, I got a snort out of that one. Socrates, the Greek philosopher, a young man came to Socrates and said, I want more knowledge and wisdom. Socrates looked at the young man and nodded and said, follow me. And then he led the young man down to the sea. And when they got to the sea, Socrates entered the water. And first it was ankle, then it was knee, then it was waist, and then it was shoulder height. And when he and the young man were in the shoulder height water, Socrates grabbed the young man and held him under the water, and he held him under the water and held him under the water until the young man was ready to black out, and then he let the young man go. The young man sputters and he's like, why did you do that? What are you doing? Are you trying to kill me? And Socrates says, no. If it was my intention to kill you, I would not have let you back up. And then he said, well, then what were you trying to do? Socrates replied, I was trying to help you see that when you want something as desperately as you want a breath of air, When you want wisdom and knowledge, and you desire that wisdom and knowledge as desperately as you want air, then you will have it. We are driven by desire in everything we do, consciously or unconsciously. Michael Beckwith used to have vision workshops, and he used to say, we are pushed by our discomfort and pulled by our desires. Napoleon Hill, who wrote Think and Grow Rich, said it a little bit differently. He said, desire is the starting point of achievement, not a hope, not a wish, but a keen, pulsating desire which transcends everything. And in the context of the second law of atomic habits, it all makes sense. Use temptation bundling. Join a culture where your desired behavior is the normal behavior. Create a motivation ritual. Recall the tale, the biblical tale of David and Goliath. Not only was the writer a magnificent storyteller, but he hits every single one of the atomic habits second law points. 2.1, use temptation bundling. The victor of the defeat of Goliath, to the victor, King Saul promises A, marriage to his beautiful daughter, B, lots and lots of money, C, tax exemption for life. Temptation bundling. 2.2, join a culture where your desired behavior is the normal behavior. David no longer had to be a shepherd. He could join and be a member of the mighty warrior army of the Israelites. And 2.3, create a motivation ritual. Well, he decided that the thing to do was to, armor up. So he found some armor and he put it on. Okay, that was not his motivation ritual. It did not work for him. He was kind of scrawny and kind of small. The armor didn't fit. But David knew what to do. He knew what would support his mind and body to know that he was ready for this new experience. He turned within, he reached out, and he selected 5 perfect stones. Athletes have motivation rituals. If you ever watched baseball, and baseball is the example James Clear gives, you know that there are motivation rituals for athletes. And if you watch basketball, they usually hop and up and down a certain way, and they kind of shake their hands before they go on the court. There's something they do. I have a motivation ritual that I engage in before I sit down to construct my Sunday lessons. I also have a motivation ritual I do right before I get up to speak in public. We each have a motivation ritual. We know what it is if we just stop to think, wow, every time I get ready to do something big, something different, something that's going to lead me to my desire, I do this one thing, or I do these 6 things in a certain order. You know what your motivation ritual is for you. And what James Clear in Atomic Habits is inviting us to do is bring them to our conscious awareness. Atomic Habits number 3, make it easy. Reduce friction, prime the environment, master the decisive moment, use the 2-minute rule, automate your habits. All of these are practices that invite us to take a look at what the path of least resistance is. And it's really not just about choosing easy habits, it's about strategically choosing easy habits. We want to choose habits that actually have an impact on that outcome that we're trying to reach. In the book, he's got great examples of what he's talking about. For prime the environment, he says, want to draw more? Put your pencils, pens, notebooks, and drawing tools on top of your desk within easy reach. Want to exercise? Set out your work clothes, shoes, gym bag, and water bottle ahead of time. You're priming your environment. Want to improve your diet? Chop up a ton of fruits and vegetables on weekends and pack them in containers so you have easy access to healthy and ready-to-eat options during the week. Make your good habit the path of least resistance. And the whole key to the third law is designing your world in a way that is easy, that makes it easy for you to do right. If it was a class, I would say, any questions? But it's not a class, it's a Sunday lesson. So we're going to the fourth and final law. Make it satisfying. Make it satisfying. The third and the fourth law really move from the problem part of whatever issue, event, idea, thought, or temptation that we're having, and it comes to the solution part. It fits so perfectly with Unity's fifth principle, which is action. It's not enough for us to know the truth. We must live the truth we know. Let's say that together. We must live the truth we know. And how wonderful to live a truth that we know in a way that is satisfying. Now, a cardinal rule of behavior change is use reinforcement, create a reward, create a visual, create something so that you recognize that you're actually like, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Say, I'm doing it. It's like, I'm doing it. I love it. These last two, the third and the fourth, they're those sneaky kind. They're very sneaky strategies. They're sneaky practices because by this time in the series and in the book, we've almost forgotten that it's not really about the outcome. It's not really about the product. Those are great. They're wonderful. And they'll be satisfying too. But what's really satisfying is that we're engaging in the practice, that we are using our new little itty-bitty changes for that enormous impact. A habit tracker can be something like using your Fitbit to say, I made my 10,000 steps. It could be manual. It can be a little grid that you have on your refrigerator where you put a check mark every time you finish your morning pages or your journaling. It could be something as easy as that. And then number 4.4, never miss twice, is also sneaky because it's okay to miss once. You just simply recommit. I recommit. But if you miss twice, that's 2 data points. And 2 data points are the beginning of a trend. And I don't know about you, but if I miss twice, the third day, I'm less likely to remember that I need to put out my yoga clothes or I need to just meditate before dinner instead of after dinner, because after dinner, it's too close to bedtime, and then I'm meditating in that, what's it called? Natural meditation. Right? So never miss twice. All of this, all of these atomic habits, this whole series has been to invite you to remember your magnificence. It's designed to support you in being the best you can be. There's a Science of Mind minister named Harry Morgan Moses, and I just love his name, number 1. But number 2, he said this, I was not born to be average, and neither were you. I was not born to be average. Put your hand on your chest. I was not born to be average, and neither were you. So if you're watching online, here's what I want you to do. I want you to think right now of a person that you're going to text when the lesson is over. because you're going to write this down and you're going to text it to somebody, or you're going to write it down and you're going to put it on your refrigerator, depending what generation you are. And if you're a Gen Zer, you're going to innovate it somehow, and then you're going to text it to somebody. But I was not born to be average. So if you're in the room, I invite you to find somebody sitting not far from you and tell them this great truth about you. I was not born to be average, and neither were you. And if you didn't find somebody yet, turn to somebody else and say, I was not born to be average, and neither were you. This is great news. This is just amazing news. And it's not like we never knew this before. It's just sometimes we forget. So let's come into a time of meditation so we can remember, so we can take an opportunity to reduce the outer interests, the things that go by in our world that capture our attention, and come home to this truth about ourselves. Closing our outer eyes and knowing that this now truly is our time for meditation. We follow our breath, for we do desire with the breath of life to go within and have a deeper spiritual experience, an opening and a remembering of our magnificence. And as we go deeper and deeper into the truth of who and what we are, we simply shed and discard any notion or idea of fear, of lack, of less than. And we let that easily fall behind us. breathe. For in remembering there is discovery. And in discovery there is remembering. That we are here to love, that we are here to serve, and that we are here to simply be ourselves. And here we sit now in the holy and sacred silence. Knowing this great truth about our magnificence, about our capacity to remember our oneness with God, we come back with a new, stronger way of being. We come back with a greater sense of assurance. We come back with a remembered faith. That not only is this truth in our heart, in our mind, it's in our hands, it's in our feet, and we can live the truth we know in new and courageous ways. We have the faith, we have the tools, we have the practices, we have each other. And with great gratitude, we come back into this time and space. We follow our breath back up into the world, back up into the light. We follow our breath back into our heartbeat. We follow our breath so that we feel every bit of the weight of our body in our chairs. We come back into this time, this place, this moment, right here, right now. So it is. And so we let it be. Amen.
Once we remember that we are love, we get to be love in every aspect of our lives, living and giving. Today, we invite you to spread your love, share it back with Unity of Mesa. There are a couple of ways to do so. You can give online. You can give via the Vanco app. You can give via text. You can mail in a check. And you can come in person. If you go back in the bookstore, they're able to receive your giving. Thank you so much for your hearts being here with us and accepting the opportunity to give. We are going to pray together, affirm our giving. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is.
the stress on the strive, but I'm gonna fly past the worry and the pain. Today, I'm flying on faith. I'm flying on faith. You can cry all night about the things that you hate, so dissatisfied in so many ways, but I'm gonna find a way to celebrate today. I'm flying on faith. I'm flying on faith. I picked up my baggage and I threw it out the door, not looking back because the past is such a bore. I'm gonna stand with the moon, with the stars up in my face today. Today, I'm flying on faith. Oh, I'm flying on faith. You can hurt for a worry, let the fear take you out, imagining the worst outcome with the doubt. There's no way to know, knowing is the only way. Today, I'm flying on faith. I'm flying on faith. I picked up my baggage and I threw it out the door, not looking back because the past is such a bore. I'm gonna stand with the moon, with the stars up in my face today. Today, I'm flying on faith. Oh, I'm flying on faith. You could go ahead and tiptoe through your life, digging in the dirt, set the stress on your stride, but I'm gonna fly past the worry and the pain today. I'm flying on faith.
Wow, 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 wow. I think we're all flying on faith right now. What a great way to bless our offering.
We are
one with the opulence of God. We are now in the flow of infinite abundance, and we give thanks for the prosperity that is ours by divine right. Amen to that. We have hospitality in the garden. We also have the bake sale, the YFM fundraising bake sale in the garden. We have chaplains in the room. They have not yet left the room. Delane.
And Audrey.
Audrey, oh, sorry, I didn't see there.
And
Delane,
John in the back.
And John in the back. So if you want to bring your hallelujahs, bring your things that you're flying around. Bring your concerns, bring your sadness, bring your joy into prayer, because prayer is that highest mind action on the planet. And prayer does make a difference. Have the absolute best week ever.
I was not born to be average, and neither were you. Okay, let's fly on faith right out of here.
Picked up my baggage and I threw it out the door, not looking back because the past is such a bore. I'm gonna stand with the moon, with the stars up in my face today. I'm flying on faith. I'm flying on faith.